Hi, good evening, everyone, and thank you for joining us here on World Awakening. And the world we're living in right now, there's an awful lot of waking up going on. This is a very difficult time for millions and millions of people. The people of Ukraine. Let us not forget the people of Afghanistan. Let us not forget all of those that are suffering around the world, and lift up our voices and lift up our hearts to all of those that are suffering, that are the displaced, that are the ones that are being victimized for no reason. Um, this is a truly pivotal time that we're enduring. Uh, and I have been very open and honest with everyone about my struggles with it. So I'm particularly grateful to welcome a wonderful woman, a truly remarkable woman to the show. Uh, Bill, if you would like to come in and we'll talk for a moment before we bring our guest on. Michelle. Oh, great. Okay. Michelle was here and now she's not, but then she'll be right back. She'll be right back.
I am not, Tony rapped me. We said it last week. Hard shows to fill, but
I know. I was thinking of him today with so much love in my heart. But I know that he's proud of us and that we're going forward and doing what we need to do to whatever extent we are able to help lift up those around us, Bill. And I think you're a remarkable producer and an even better human being. And that matters so much to me.
Well, a friend of mine, another host of this network, I asked him, what is the best way? Do you know the best way to help those in Ukraine? So he gave me a link to UNICEF.
Yes.
And Mom and I did, a modest donation for the children of Ukraine, because it's always the children, the families that suffer civilians from war.
Yes.
So Mom and I did our part. I know that you were kind of touching on that at the opening of the show.
Yes, I was. And I chose UNICEF.
Oh, you did?
As well. Yeah, because I remember when I was a little kid, back when the March of Dimes, you would go around at Halloween and you would collect money for children with birth defects, and UNICEF was always a once a year thing where and my mother always got the boxes for us, and we would go out all through the neighborhood and we would raise money, a dime at a time, to I mean, I was thrilled if somebody plopped a dollar, folded a dollar up and put it down in my thing. And then she would put all the money together and write a check and send it off. And it was, I grew up learning about, giving, kind of tithing to humanity. And so it's just in my blood, I guess.
I did the same thing, Annie. When I was young, there was a roller skating rink in my neighborhood, and they would have every year, Danny Thomas, St. Jude, yes, the founder, they would have a rollathon, and I would skate, and it would go to benefit the poor kids, St. Jude cancer. But you have I was looking at Michelle's resume, and I want to apologize to Michelle for the little confusion that I created, Michelle. It was all me. But she has what an impressive resume. Demonologist, exorcisms, and remote viewing, helping law enforcement investigate cases, helping children with special abilities. I mean, the list goes on. It would take like half the show to talk about Michelle's resume. That's how well-rounded and she should. Oh my gosh! As your producer, I am looking forward to sitting back and enjoying this show with both of you.
Yeah, she's really a remarkable woman and incredibly gifted in so many ways. But, opening the show, discussing what we're talking about is relevant to Michelle being on the show tonight, because Michelle is one of those rare individuals who can literally dwell in darkness with some of the things that she's had to deal with over the course of her life. I mean, she has seen the dark side of existence. And as I say all the time myself, I have seen the dark side of existence. And that is why I deliberately choose to live in the light. And I do believe that the same can be said for Michelle. She casts a beacon of light wherever she goes, and whomever she encounters is touched by her presence. So without further ado, let us welcome our very special guest tonight, Michelle Roos.
Hi, how are you, darling?
I'm very well, sweetheart. How are you?
I am doing wonderful.
Oh, I'm so glad. I tell all my guests that this is your show. This is my opportunity to gift you with a platform where you can express yourself completely, fully, wholly, in every. This is kind of sacred space on A World Awakening, and it's yours to do with as you please. And we'll have a wonderful discussion, unquestionably. But before we even begin, I want people to know, anybody that does not know who you are, they need to. And so if you would just take your time and, talk about what you do, how you do it, why you do it, how all of this came to be in your life, and give everybody that's watching and listening tonight a primer on Michelle.
Wow. Okay. So Michelle, like a lot of young kids, had abilities at a very young age. Grew up in a time that, when we talk about ghosts or demons or anything like that, you didn't talk about it. It was almost taboo, especially growing up over in Europe. So when I was seeing these different things, I could never figure out why my imaginary friends looked scary. They weren't, the little girls that I could sit and talk to and play with dolls. I kept seeing them, with their faces cut up and almost that zombie-like, and was terrified all the time. And I kept trying to figure out, why am I seeing this? And then when you talk about it, it was like, if we don't talk about it, it don't exist.
Right.
So you're trying to figure out and navigate as a child what is going on. And when you start seeing different things, like a man taking a child and running off in a car, and you're trying to explain what you're seeing and how he was offering you candy and things like that, you kept getting, these are tall tales. You don't talk about this stuff. And you're so adamant, and then to find out later in life that, hey, I see things other people don't see.
Yeah.
I go to the playgrounds with the kids and I'm swinging with something that's not there and talking to it, and the kids are looking at you. And to process that was a very difficult thing. You kind of get inside yourself, even as you're growing up, like, where do I fit in? Am I crazy? Am I that odd duckling? And things kept getting darker and darker. I would always have visitors that say, you need to come with me. We need to show you something. And I used to like bundle myself in bed and I was frozen. And I just kind of kept pushing it away, like if I don't think about it and stuff. And I was suppressing it for a very long time.
Yeah.
I started looking at different things of, how do I make sense of what I see? Why do I see it this way? You start hearing, going into the 80s and 90s, you started hearing about mediums and things like that. But they always talked about these beautiful love notes. Grandma or mom's visiting, they love you. And I'm like, that's not what I'm seeing. And I had to come to the realization that I physically am a voice for spirit world. I am not here to speak for the living. I am here to speak for them, and I'm speaking for those who were forgotten. And that's when I started, looking into demonology, learning about it, trying to figure out, where do I fit in? And it's always been where do I fit in? And I guess my guides were constantly trying to tell me, you're not going to fit in. You just need to be ready. And of course, not listening, I kept going more and more and started getting into the different types of religions. Everybody, it's either demons, angels, there's always very black and white. And I keep seeing everything in the gray.
Yes.
And trying to explain that to people, you're like, okay, something's not right. I mean, you fight yourself a lot because you're trying to be very logical about things.
Yeah.
Suppressed it a very, very long time. And then one day I just couldn't hold back anymore. Everything opened so wide. I was on this crazy train, going off the rails, and I would lose my breath. I thought I was dying. And then all of a sudden it was like this light just opened. It was like this big beam of light. And I felt at home. I felt like I belonged.
Yeah.
And that's when I decided, this is what I'm supposed to do. I do need to see the darker side, but not all of it's really dark. Right. They're showing me how they passed, but they had a story. And because they weren't part of the history books, their story was pushed away.
Yeah. Lost to the annals of time. I know.
And some of them look like demons, but they're not demons. It's the way they were treated in life. If they were treated like they were bad demons or witches and stuff, it's kind of, that's how I was seeing it, because that was the last moment in their time. And that's when I actually started working with families that were having really difficulties. And I'm like, I need to start learning more, finding out where I go. And that's how I got into all the demonology and started working with a lot of the churches and things, and became an exorcist. And just to let everybody know, I don't go out and just throw a cross and say I can cure everyone. I do go through the channels. I do work all those, and I never do it by myself. So I just don't go in thinking I can save the world at that moment. I just do it a little piece at a time.
Yeah. Well, I know that, one of the things that I've dealt with, look who my sweet Cody is here. Now that's somebody that's tapped into the unified field of consciousness right there, to view more. Oh, good. Please. That's wonderful. Thank you, Candy, for putting that up. Leave it for a minute too. That would be good. So anybody that wants to be able to contact Michelle directly can do that. That's wonderful. Thank you, Candy. We have a lot in common. I guess that's what I'm trying to say to you is I've been through a lot of the same things. Now, I've never seen a demon. I don't know what a demon is. But I do know that pure, unadulterated evil exists. There is no question of that. I have seen it in action. And so, I'm not fascinated by that. I shy away from it. I think that you're incredibly brave you're one of those women that runs to the fire, instead of running in the opposite direction. That would be me. Because and it's not about denying it. It's about avoiding it. And you're just one of those brave souls. I know you've worked with police and helped locate missing children, and have just done this for so many years of your life that it's ingrained in you that your being paranormal is absolutely normal for you, and that's the truth for me as well. This is normal. This is all that there is, and it started for me at a young age too. So I can completely relate to what you're saying and what you're sharing. And the thing that I think is most important is that people who are out there who have these same feelings will gravitate to this show and learn from you, because you really are a teacher as well. You're a minister, you're a teacher, you're a guide for countless souls. And I know it's a heavy burden, Michelle. I know that it is, and particularly when what's empathetically charged in you gets tapped. And I know that everyone is going through that right now. How are you dealing right now with the woes of the world? How are you personally processing all of this? And what good do you think that all of us can do by channeling our energy, channeling our thoughts, and coming together in mindful purpose to heal the world?
It's been a little bit of a struggle for me.
Yeah.
I'm trying to make sense of it,
There is no sense to be made of it.
It's like you again trying to be very logical, but there isn't.
Mm-hmm.
And when you're looking at it and you're seeing all this, like they're playing a chess game, I can't fathom any of that. The biggest thing that I have been able to do, and just for myself, is to live. I have caught myself getting put in these little boxes because I'm getting enthralled. Oh, what can I do? Am I doing enough? How do I get the word out? How can I love more? How can we shine it out? And I stopped thinking of myself. I am traveling like there is no tomorrow, and I'm not able to control it. And I'm like, there is something going on that I'm getting pulled everywhere.
I know, me too, everywhere.
Are you too?
Fractured, absolutely fractured, like somebody took a sledgehammer to a mirror. Yep, shattered.
Yes, and I'm waking up with bruises and everything, and it's like I'm going all over, but all I'm seeing is darkness. Straight darkness. Now I do work with the dark, but nothing like this.
Nothing like
this. It's like I'm falling into the abyss. Is exactly how I'm feeling.
Yeah, I know it's absolutely overwhelming. And I don't know how familiar you are with the show. There's our Erin. There's our girl right now.
Yes, it is.
She's so sweet, isn't she? Great. She's so.
I adore her.
I know she's a very, very special woman with great gifts herself.
Oh,
and
yes.
I see you mentoring her. I see you bringing her into her own abilities in a profound way. But I think that right now the very best thing that we can do is to come together, almost like holding hands cosmically, sharing and channeling and harnessing our energy, because I've never in my whole life, in my 63 years on earth, I've never felt so helpless and so hopeless. And I can't allow that. I have to dare myself to have faith that we will get through to the other side of this, that this is the paradigm shift, that it is a global awakening. It is a shift in consciousness all over the planet, and that something just, oh yeah, sure, pick me. It feels like to me that that this is forcing us to the surface. Do you understand what I'm saying? It's forcing, it's causing what is dark and toxic, that's crystallized at the bottom of the cauldron and set a flame underneath it, and is bringing everything to the surface. The last 4 or 5 years has just been a tumultuous uh, like breeding ground of negative energy that's being forced up to be confronted by the light of awareness. And yet today, it's hard not to feel hopeless when I see a megalomaniac standing in the middle of a stadium with hundreds of thousands of people cheering for him as he's blowing a country off the map deliberately because he's such a spoiled baby boy that if he can't have it, he'll make sure no one does. He's the kind of man that kills his wife when she asks for a divorce, because if he can't own her, no one is. You know, it's that same mindset. And I really do think that that's what we need to challenge, Michelle. And we need to work together to do that, because in 2022, we should not still be dealing with one individual. And there are plenty more like him, but just one right now that is in the white hot spotlight of global scrutiny, who is capable of holding the sword of Damocles to the throat of all humanity. And that is because, you know, this isn't 1939 anymore. And we have nuclear weapons. And he has nuclear weapons. And so I think that even though he's a dictator, or emphasis on the word dick, not for nothing, but I could get a lot worse. So everybody out there should just be grateful that I have not gone off tonight yet. But I was thinking about talking with you the other night, and I was sitting out on the terrace talking to the Galactic family, like, you know, this would be a good time to get down here. Like, if there was ever a time for you to show up and make your presence known and make everybody drop their weapons, this would be the good time. And, you know, I kind of go off on them sometimes, and then I'm sorry, because they're doing what they can the way that they can, and through us, you know, through us. So I have to kind of back off of that. But I realized that the real dictator, the biggest dictator of all, is fear. That's what's calling the shots. That's what's establishing the vibration on the planet right now. It's not love. There's plenty of that, plenty of it. Look at the outreach of people from all over the world that are doing everything in their power to help, everything in their power to help fight this evil, vanquish this unbelievable, grotesque evil. But fear is the real dictator. And I think that we're going to have to overcome fear to overcome this evil, to overcome the fear that he will do the unthinkable in order to quell this and make sure you can't say never again and not mean it. You just can't say never again and not mean it. And, you know, to have this many millions of people have their lives shredded on a whim of some archaic notion of reconfiguring the USSR. You know, go live in another dimension, on another planet, in another space and time in the past, in history, because we're moving forward as a planet and he doesn't get to call the shots. And so I think that ultimately this is going to be absolutely horrible, but I have to believe that it will resolve on the other side to people understanding that we can't live in a world where one man has that power anymore. Not anymore. And I think that that will be the ultimate realization, the realization of oneness, that we literally are all in this together and every human life matters. And you don't get to wantonly, brutally cleanse a country of its people because you want their land, even if it's nothing but scorched earth left.
I totally agree. I mean, the fear is so bad that even
it's
when
palpable.
Yeah.
Yep.
And we talk about spiritual warfare, and this is the perfect picture of spiritual warfare.
Yes, it is.
You always have to have balance, from both the light and the dark. But this has become where they said during the spiritual warfare right now, we're going to have so much evil.
Yes.
And this is where we're getting tested of where do we go to crush it? And, we have to find it deep inside, because it is easy for us to think negative, feel negative, but realize when we do it, especially like when I help people, you have to look in the mirror and you have to be able to say that you love yourself, you're strong enough, and you can actually do anything. And if the more of us would actually look at ourselves, I mean, deep selves, look past the skin, we could actually really start pumping out the light that we all have.
Yes.
To be able to crush what this evil is.
To crush what this is.
Yes. And
because,
it's hard.
I really don't think of demons as off planet anything. I don't. I mean, there's one among us. There is evil afoot in the land, and there is at least one among us on this planet that is capable of unleashing destruction like we have never seen on this planet. And that is a legitimate reason to be afraid. It is. I mean, he has the power and the ability and the sycophants and the minions at his beck and call to do whatever he wants to do about this. We have to defeat it anyway. We have to be courageous in a way that we've not been courageous before, and stare this evil in the face and make it cower. Because you know what? He's like, what is he, like 4'3"? And, he's just this
little Napoleon.
He would have to jump up to punch me in the kneecap. Okay. I can take him out. And, I'm trying to do it with my brain, and see, that's the thing about healing energy, just this man can't be healed. Okay. He's so far gone. He needs to just exit the planet. But that's one thing that I know about energy and harnessing energy and channeling energy, is that you can only do it with positive light and love energy. You cannot channel hatred, because if we could, he would be a pile of ashes in the middle of the Kremlin, because that's how many people worldwide hate him for what he is doing. So I have to look at this big picture and say, is this still part of that paradigm shift where we are shedding what is toxic in us? Because up until 5-6 years ago, I did not know I could hate another human being. And then I did. And this seems like another layer on top of it. And so I'm tired of being angry. I'm tired of being forlorn and bereft and feeling hopeless and having to overcome that feeling of hopelessness all the time to be brave and to stand up and to speak my truth. And, damn it, I want the people of Russia to do that, but they're not playing with, I almost said something rather rude, not
it's
playing
okay.
with a full deck, but they don't have the full information to utilize.
No.
And so they can't make decisions based on from a pathological liar and this wild pack of conspiracy theories and denazification. Really, the Jewish leader of Ukraine is a Nazi? I mean, okay, I can't wrap my head around this, and I really need to get off of I go out. How often do you go out of 3D? That's my next question for you. How the hell often do you blow off this planet and travel and get out of here and go into fifth dimension enough to be able to come back and still survive this turmoil?
Like I said, now I feel like I'm doing it a lot more.
Yeah.
Something is pulling me.
Yeah.
And I can tell you, I've always done it, but it seemed like it was just kind of regulated. Now,
Yeah.
I am afraid to close my eyes to go to sleep because I'm like, I'm hoping it's taking me somewhere beautiful because it sure in the hell is not letting me see what the hell I'm supposed to see,
Yeah.
and I keep thinking, is there a message out here? Am I missing something? Am I supposed to let people know something? And I wake up and it's like, okay, I know I've been, but where the hell was I?
Yeah.
And then come back. It's almost like that movie. Remember the movie Groundhog Day?
Yes.
That is kind of how it's been feeling. And it's just like overwhelming. It's to the point. And I always try to be the happy one, keep everyone going.
I know, me too.
Yeah.
Happy,
Now,
joy,
when I
joy.
look at some people, I'm just like, oh, you're just really getting under my skin. So I notice some of the stuff with a lot of us that are light workers and do different things. It's attacking us on that spiritual side.
It
and
is.
starting to make us think that way than what we are. So I'm on a daily struggle.
Yeah, it's almost like a daily cleansing that
Yes.
has to go on.
Yes. And it's
Yep.
been getting more and more and almost feeling like I'm wearing sludge. Like I got this
And
sludge
walking
on me.
through slightly chilled molasses.
Yes.
I'm
And
like
it's
all
just-
thrilled with myself if I do a load of laundry. Wow, look at what I just got
Yeah,
done.
yay,
That's
yeah.
amazing. Yay. Oh, wow, I'm still breathing. Okay, that taking some energy. I mean, it's been really tough these last few weeks. But I will tell you, and I don't think that I told you before, or maybe Erin did, but the morning of February 24th, and that was the first day of the war, when the invasion began. But it began later in the day. I guess we're 6 or 7 hours apart. But that morning I was sitting out, and I apologize if I'm being redundant to those I've shared this with before, but I think it's really important for those who haven't heard it. I get messages. I've always gotten messages. They've always been correct. I've never questioned them. I just follow up on them. And I let the downloads in and I just take them. And sometimes I don't even know what they mean. Most times I don't know what they mean. But the morning of February 24th, I was sitting out on the terrace, smoking a cigarette and having a cup of coffee. And the most succinct message that has ever come through to me came through. It just as clear as if the universe was actually speaking to me aloud. And the message was, if we are here, this planet and its people are in crisis. We are here. And I was like, this is it. It starts today. I just knew it. I knew it. And within a few hours, the first cruise missiles got lobbed into 1,000-year-old towns and blowing them to smithereens. And I knew it. And I know that they're here. And I'll tell you what, the message implicit in the message was, we are here to help. But they cannot intervene. We have to do it. We have to do it. We have to come to the realization that this can't happen anymore and that this has to stop some way, somehow. This must stop. And then those responsible for it must be held accountable, and that the country that created this devastation is going to need to pay to rebuild the country, the free country that they just leveled. So also implicit in it, Michelle, and I think you'll relate to this, is that in my mind's eye, I saw we are here, and WE was capitalized. Like, it's not just them, it's us. And I know you know that feeling. I know you know that you are working on behalf of those that can't do it for us. You are a guiding light, my dear. You are. So many people have commented to me about what you bring to the world and how you change lives just by interacting with people. Michelle, and do you have something that you hold closest? Erin wants to know, of all the things you have studied, do you have something that you hold closest to your heart?
Yes, I think it's when I did the studies of all the different religions, to be able to understand how everyone has a different, how their belief system works. Because when we learn how everybody's belief system works, just like you said, the big capital we, it becomes one. Because no matter how anybody studies it or believes in it, we always end up in the middle together. It all of it. It does not matter if you study the Quran, if you study the Bible, if you are big into the book of Enoch or anything. All the messages come as one. And this is perfect with what we're talking about, because the whole capital we becomes that. And I find strength in that. I feel like, that during May Day, how they had the bar and they go around
pole, yes.
the pole
and the ribbons. Yep.
Yeah. I always feel like I'm standing here like this and I'm just grabbing and wanting people there. And it just kind of all comes together. I feel like I keep always seeing this huge circle. And it just keeps intertwining. And there's more and more people, but everyone has their hands like this. And then in the middle, a big light shoots straight up. And I have that dream so much of, it's like almost to the point it's nagging, almost like it's a vision, like it's supposed to be done. And I'm like, where do you go to make this happen? But it's almost like in the center, because we all met together. So,
yep. Everything is energy. Everything is vibration. Everything is frequency. Everything is one thing. And so all existence, we're different energetic forms, but we're all in the energy field and the unified field of consciousness. Everything's one thing. I do believe Tesla was absolutely right about that. And, so many other brilliant philosophers who have been, who have maintained the same thing. Growing up the way that I did, I was going to be a veterinarian because of my great love and my ability to communicate with animals. And after living for a few years at the farm and seeing what I saw, I went in and made my major philosophy when I went to college. And in order to get a degree in philosophy, you have to study every single major world religion in depth. And the one thing that I found that they had in common, every single one had as its rudimentary core, as its fundamental, foundational building block for the faith itself, was love and practicing what we call the golden rule. It's in every major theological text over and over and over again that love is the answer to every question. And I believe Candace contributed that to our chat room a little while ago. My precious Candace, love is the answer.
Yeah.
And I guess what I'm asking you is, how do you find your balance between the darkness and the light, and the love and the fear and the loathing, and the angels and the demons? And I mean, how do you find, and even a step beyond, how do you maintain balance to be able to do what you do and still remain functional? in the world, and be able to interact with others normally. Do you know what I'm saying?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I think when I figured out that I was speaking for them instead of for the living,
Mhm.
and that's when I was able to start navigating. Because when we talk the dark side, nothing, not all of it's demons. I explain to a lot of people, a lot of times the dark side is if someone was just very mean and rotten in life, just like what we're seeing now,
Yeah.
their spirit becomes so bad that it is very demonic looking, and it has those tendencies of doing it. I go kind of in between all of it. I call on my angels, but I also call on ancestors, gods and goddesses. I find who are the strength, and I put them together as an army, and I surround myself with that army. And again, everything comes back to the light. So even if I'm on that dark side, I know if I keep going down this crossroad, I'm going to end up finding the light where I need to be bringing everything else. It has taken me a very long time to figure that out. But that's how I can live with it. I know I'm supposed to give this message. And when I give it the truth, I always say, I tell you the truth beyond the truth. So what's written and what really is.
Yeah.
And that is where I have found my balance, because I always tried to walk that fine line. But then when I went past that line, that's when I found peace in myself. So I do have stuff just fly out of my mouth sometimes. That might not be so nice.
Yeah,
but I
think
better
we're related.
Yeah, but I feel amazing because I'm like, this is how spirit wanted me to tell you. I've been nice. Okay, we're done with nice. Now I'm going to tell you how it really is.
Yeah.
And I feel empowered. I feel like I did what I was supposed to. And I feel like how a snake sheds its skin?
Yes.
It's almost like that layer comes off and I'm refreshed. And that's how I've had to start living that way.
I've used that metaphor repeatedly in this life, in my own writing and everything. And yes, we have to shed our skin. We have to, because that's also indicative of growth. Yes. Part of the reason why a snake sheds its skin is because it outgrows its skin. In the same way that the transformational process that the caterpillar and the chrysalis undergoes as it becomes the butterfly literally bursts that chrysalis open so that it can take wing. I think that, we can just look around and find endless examples in nature for, nature is intrinsically intelligent. And if we're intelligent, then we'll watch it to show us how transformation occurs, how illumination occurs. But we're at a tempestuous and a very precarious time. I feel that our future as a singular race, human race, is in jeopardy. And I think that the planet is very much in jeopardy. We are now capable of doing enough damage to this planet that it will not recover until long after we're not on it anymore. And that means that we're too powerful and have too much control over our environment and are capable of doing so much damage to it that, and I don't mean just with, nuclear weapons or chemical weapons. I mean, just in general, we have defiled, instead of honoring Mother Gaia, we have defiled her. And if we don't change our mind about a lot of things in a relatively short amount of time, I think that it is fair to say that we have as equal a chance of surviving as we do dooming ourselves to extinction. And you know what? I look at this planet and the people on it, and since we are literally the only creature on Earth that follows its own nest, I have to ask what I think is a legitimate question. It's like, do we even deserve this planet? We don't have a plan B or a planet B. So if we're not going to take care of this, we've already junked up outer space so much that it's dangerous for the space station to circumnavigate the globe, because it could be, just a wrench could take it out. At 16,000 miles an hour, a wrench can take out the space station. Yep. What are we going to do? And when are we going to decide that it's damn straight time to do it?
I agree. Because, look at how many people are talking. Look at the way the weather's changing.
Yeah.
Places that are getting snow that we don't think should have snow. Some of the summers are like some of the hottest summers. If you've noticed, like with the moon's even closer to us. Mm-hmm. If the moon sometimes has brighter and more energy than the sun is putting off. We are getting signs just like our guides. The signs keep coming and coming, but we walk with blinders on. Unless it's right in our face or on our turf, we don't see it. And that goes even when it goes to the spiritual side,
Yes.
Everything shows us a sign, and we just don't listen until it's too late. And then we're all crying, well, what can we do? And we try to hurry up and put a Band-Aid on it. And right now is the time we can start stitching it up and figuring things out. I love like trees. Watching them cut trees down like crazy. I actually feel it. It just devastates me.
Yeah, me
because
too.
The energy source that it gives off. That's where if I really need to recoup, I sit by a tree, I hug a tree, something like that. But It's all going to be gone. We always want, and we're all loving, a loving species. We are.
Yeah.
But it seems like something has to be very devastating for us to jump in to show that love, instead of just saying, hey, if we're showing it now, a little bit goes a long way.
Yeah. Well, I cannot help. And, anybody who watches this show regularly is very familiar with my opinion about this. And I think that we literally have to change the world. And I think that the wonderful men among us need to accept, acknowledge, and step up to make sure that this chronic, persistent cycle of human behavior comes to an end. Because the truth and the fact of it is that men make war and women and children suffer. So do the men suffer. But it is the innocent, the truly innocent, the women, the children, the animals, the nature. Find me a tree that isn't scorched to its roots in Ukraine right now, and I'll find you and I'll show you a tree that'll be their next target. They just want to kill everything. All the trees that have all the nests that have, how many apartment houses in Ukraine right now have abandoned animals left behind in them? People going in searching to try to save as many as they can because they couldn't be taken along. That is pure evil. That is pure evil. On top of the evil that has already been inflicted on the community of Ukrainians that were living peacefully 3 weeks ago, and who have now had to lose and leave everything behind in order just to survive. I say, damn it, call it exactly what it is. These are crimes against humanity. Just say it for what. There's no tipping, don't tiptoe around this. Call this exactly what it is. Hold on, Brendan. Hey, Andrea. Hey, Michelle. Hey, Tony, all the way from Melbourne, Australia. It's not Tony with us tonight, Brendan. It is Bill is our new producer while Tony is on hiatus, but I will pass your message along. So true. It's absolutely terrible and shocking what's going on in Ukraine. I get the same feeling with the trees, Michelle. You know, they're living entities as well, you know, and they're grounded. They're grounded in a way that we can't be. You know, we have to, our root system is here, you know, not at the base of us, it's here. And if we can't root ourselves into literally changing our mind about what we will accept, what we are willing to tolerate, what we are willing to perceive of this world, and how much energy we're willing to put into changing it, by changing our minds, by changing what our expectations are for humanity as we move forward to the other side of this. This will require all of us coming together in a way that I don't think that we have before. And I hope if there is any good that can come from this travesty and this tragedy, that it will be that we will come to a higher and a new awareness that this really cannot ever be allowed to happen again.
Very true. And I think if we just sit back and, you know, how a lot of people, we have empaths, we have sensitives and all that. I've noticed there's more and more awakenings. I think everyone needs to. I think we're all starting to wake up. It seems like we've all been in this somber sleep.
Yeah.
And things are starting to really do all of this to start waking us up, because we all have a purpose of something that we're supposed to be doing.
Yeah.
And I think we need to start looking past just the pictures. You know, when we look at something, we always just look for what it is. We need to start looking past it, because our answers are there. And I think that's when we can all step up and start making that change, like you said, because we do need to.
Yeah, we must. It's imperative, because otherwise all is lost. I mean, this isn't, you know, oh, we can pick this or we can pick that. No, there's only one choice.
Yeah.
There's only one choice to make the right decision here. And let's move forward into our spiritual ascension, or we will surely perish from the earth.
Oh,
and
absolutely.
She will ultimately go on without us, but we can't go on without her.
No. I mean, look at everything that was in the past that was here and how it was just wiped out. You know, how many more chances is there anybody going to get? You know, it seems like when, you know, history keeps, you know, repeating itself.
Yeah.
And we keep getting chances. You know, we're here to learn something. We're all supposed to learn something. And it's like we don't have our eyes open wide enough to find out what is it we're going to learn. And it could be something very simple. But we have blinders. We just need to stop, take a deep breath, and start listening and opening our eyes to see past it. And then I think we can would be a powerhouse.
Yeah.
We really would.
Yeah, it would change the world permanently. Because then, you know, I think of the planet as soul school, and that we come here to learn lessons. And unfortunately, in soul school, the test always precedes the lesson, and we are being severely tested right now. Severely tested. You know, what is the right thing to do? What level of risk is acceptable? Yeah. How do you deal with a lunatic? No, I'm not going to use that word, because Luna and Moon are, not Luna. Maniac, maniacal, megalomaniac.
Yeah, I like that one.
Yeah. You know, Santayana, the poet, and one of our viewers had put up a paraphrase of one of his most famous lines: "Those who cannot remember the past are condemned to repeat it." We have to remember. We have to remember. how it felt like, I mean, how it felt when planes were flown into our ships at Pearl Harbor, watching jumbo jets fly into the World Trade Center. We need to remember as a nation how it felt to be attacked like that, to feel that level of fear, to not know what was coming next, to not know how bad this was going to get. Well, the Ukrainians now know how bad this is going to get, and they're fighting like hell to preserve their land. I'm a pacifist, and honest to God, if I was younger and more nimble, I have to wonder, as angry as I am about that, if I wouldn't pack up my stuff and head over to the other side of the world to do whatever I could. It maybe not fight, because it's such an anathema to me. Violence is such an anathema to me, but certainly help. And all I can do is open my checkbook or pull out my debit card. But that's something. That's something. A $5 contribution to UNICEF is going to feed someone. That's something. It might be one meal or just food for a day for one child, but it's something. And, cumulatively, if we all believe that as individuals that we can make a difference, then collectively we can make a hell of a difference.
Oh,
and
we
it
can.
is forcing people open. It is tearing our hearts apart. It is, I really do think that that's part of the shift, Michelle.
Yeah.
Part of our spiritual ascension is having our hearts broken, wide open. And that's what lets in the light.
You nailed it, because we have been shredded.
Yeah.
Look at how long with COVID, the war, everything going on is just keeps piling and piling and piling.
Yeah, it is just one kind of pile on after another,
Correct.
The murder of George Floyd, all the civil unrest, the social upheaval, the civil rights, and that's all still going on, as it should be. I'm sorry, Congress, I don't want to hear nothing about states' rights when it comes to suppressing the vote of the citizens of the country of the United States of America. There's a whole bunch of them that I could say such nasty, nasty words to, and then they would tune me out and not hear how important this is. Maybe this is the wake-up call for America to come to understand how precious our democracy is, as we watch an authoritative megalomaniac running a whole part of the world into the ground. Okay, like when Switzerland steps in, it's serious.
Thank you. I said the same thing. Switzerland's in it. Oh,
really?
We are in trouble.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's not going to stop there, because someone that has that much, power hungry. Oh, I took care of this. No one did anything. I'm going to go try over here.
Right.
But do you remember?
And no one did anything.
No. And if it's not on the turf, everybody's like, well, it's not going to happen.
Yeah. Leveled Chechnya, nobody did anything. And then we used chemical weapons in Syria, and nobody did anything. Oh, yeah. And we took the entire Crimean Peninsula. And you know what? The world let that happen too. So why not just, keep
on going? Well,
this time the door is being slammed in his face. He will be a pariah for all the rest of his days on this earth. And my lips to God's ears, I hope that is a minimal amount of time, because it is time to wipe the pestilence from the planet. The pestilence from the planet needs to go. And you know what? I think that being a spiritual warrior for peace is not counterintuitive conceptually. I think that there are things worth fighting for, and that is the nature of our 3D realm. But wouldn't it be wonderful? Let's invoke John Lennon. Imagine, wouldn't it be wonderful if violence and hatred and weaponry and the urge to kill other human beings, wanton disregard for human life, came to an abrupt end? We have the power to do that, Michelle. You know we do. We do. If anybody knows how to channel energy, it's you.
Oh, yeah, we could do it. And the crazy thing is we're talking about all this, and I don't know if you've noticed, but have you noticed that we got more and more spirits that are coming? The energy is so strong that even the
my skin is tingling. Yeah, I almost feel bad. I was hot, so I wore the bare shoulders tonight, which I never do, and I'm like, where's my robe, damn it? I'm all tingly.
But I've noticed too, it's almost like I feel like spirit world is coming too. Like, what are you guys doing? Because I feel like I'm walking more through, spirit world coming at me across the roads than, somebody that's alive. And I've noticed that has a big, huge uptick. So then I know that the energy getting pumped out there is overwhelming.
Yes.
And we need to figure out how to harness that.
Harness it.
Oh, we got to.
Yeah, we have to. Have you noticed how many people have been coming to you? I'm making a presumption. You can tell me if I'm wrong. How many people have been coming to you saying, I'm seeing things I've never seen before. I'm seeing things in the sky I've never seen before. I'm having experiences that I have never had before. It really started ramping up during the height of COVID. Mm-hmm. And at first I explained it away, logically by, deductive reasoning. Well, everybody's home more, so maybe they're sensing their environment and things that have been in their environment all along that they're just now paying attention to. Or maybe they're taking walks outside in the yard for a breath of fresh air and looking up and in ways that they might not have had time to do or afforded themselves the opportunity to do. And then I realized it's, maybe that's part of the equation, but I really do think that the energies on the planet are swirling in a way that I have never felt before, not ever before. My friend Greta this morning, she called me. She's like, my head's exploding. Yes. My head is exploding. I'm like, yep, I'm right here with you, sister. Right here with you. Yep.
And it's crazy because I feel like we're actually in a vortex. I feel like it's going like this and then like this. And you're trying to breathe. And emotional roller coasters and things, pains and everything else. But I got to tell you, the calls are more.
Yep.
I know I didn't have any abilities, but I feel like I have abilities. I'm seeing shadow people. I'm getting doors slammed, glasses flown. What is going on? This never happened here before. Mm-hmm. And it's just like, it's become more of a common thing. And if you start writing it down, you're just kind of like, oh, okay, something's going on.
Something's going on.
Oh, yeah.
'Tis the paradigm shift.
Oh,
yes, it is, and let us rise to the occasion. Let us rise to the occasion and pull ourselves up out of the morass, the malaise, and the misery of this period. Why do we have to suffer so much and suffer on behalf of others that suffer so much before we see the light, before we really understand the damage done and how to begin to repair it? Why couldn't we have found a way to see it coming and to mitigate it and to stop it dead in its tracks before it actually happened? Life is like a game of three-dimensional chess.
Yes.
You better know what moves you need to make preemptively, prophylactically, to divert this kind of negative energy and shed it, and yet there are people, and I've heard people say, if this wasn't happening, how many people would still not have that empathy awakened in them? How many have to be sacrificed for countless others to realize, oh my God, that could be me. Oh my God, I can sit down at my kitchen table tonight with my family and have dinner and not worry about an ICBM landing on my head. We need to take those moments, I think, and focus on that, and focus on, a level of gratitude that perhaps we have not in all of our, so much of this is so self-inflicted. And, during COVID, when people through no fault of their own saw their livelihoods destroyed and lost their homes, their apartments, their cars, living in shelters. I mean, this has had a dramatic impact on our country and our society. But we had, for the most part, safety nets built in that captured those, caught them as they fell. And nobody in Ukraine right now has got a safety net really within the borders of their own free and sovereign country. They literally have to leave their country for help. We need to be aware of that. We need to be more self-aware of how lucky we are and what can we do to make this, to heal this egregious wound that's been inflicted on a society of peace-loving people.
Yeah, but we talk about the devastation and stuff, but remember I was talking about, like as we look past, I have never seen a light as bright as I have seen over there when those people are together.
I know.
There is unity over there that, when I'm talking that middle light going up, no matter what's going on, there is that light that we talked about, and it's coming from them. And I think that's where my cheekbones are getting hard, because
I know
they
are, I know. That's from holding back the tears, sweetheart.
Yeah, I know. But that is the most true felt love that I've seen. So when I can't really watch news and stuff, it affects me a lot. But I have been keeping up with it. And when I was watching, the Ukrainian leader having to beg to save the humanity, and everything that's over there. But then when you see the pictures of them, even though we see it as a picture of, children and the dogs and the grandmas holding the guns and stuff, if you really look past it, I see more power over there than I have ever seen since I've been alive. Mm-hmm. And it's going to shift. And I feel that they will come on top. And that crazy, crazy man is about to get something that he's never gotten before, and it's going to be the wrath. And, again, they've already been through this dark. They're about to come out in the light, and they've got it. And that's where I get the solace from all of it, because I can see that.
There must be a reckoning for this.
Yep.
There must be a reckoning for this.
Oh, there will be.
But he's such a coward. He'll probably pull a Hitler and off himself in his bunker. I mean, it's, and you know what? That would be okay too. I would be okay as long as he goes away, far away.
Nobody should dirty their hands.
Right.
Let him do it.
Yeah. It's, no, because I do believe, and I don't think I've ever said this before, but I do believe that he is beyond redemption. And because I believe in the redeeming power of love, the affirmation of life, it's hard for me to say those words and to wish him ill, to wish him dead. And yet I do. And so perhaps that's what is in me, as you know, that earthling part of me that is so feels such incredible contempt and revulsion, that maybe that's part of my spiritual cleansing as well, that it literally has to come up
Yes.
and out of me to be cleansed by the light. I take solace in what you're saying, because I have seen it and I have felt it as well. I do watch too much. I can't help it. I have to know what's going on all the time. I have to. I've been a political scientist my whole life. I've been a news junkie my whole life, and only from the most reliable sources. And so I feel not only well informed, I feel incredibly burdened by the knowledge. And so I understand why you have to keep it at bay, hold it, at a distance, because you will be shaken and stirred by watching just the images of what is occurring right now in this moment in real time on the other side of the world. And knowing that is, I don't know, it's just enough. It's enough to shift my focus to this and other projects, almost like putting everything like this is all that's important. This is all that's important, is channeling this energy into creating something peaceful and loving and good from something so horrendous. But Michelle, tell me, are you as exhausted as I am? Are you absolutely, utterly exhausted, way beyond fatigue? Beyond fatigue.
Yeah, this is one where I'm to the point where I have to think about my words. I've gotten to that point where, I'm just sitting here going,
Greta laughing right now. She's like, oh my God, my brain is scrambled. We have conversation in the morning, coffee talk, and we can't even find the words. We can't even literally find the language. I have a degree in this language. You think they would come with relative ease. No, not right now.
I stumble on words. I've been having problems with, I keep going, oh my God, I'm forgetting things. And not just your normal, why did I walk in the kitchen forgetting things, but like, I got to tell somebody this. And by the time I get on the phone, I'm like, I have no clue. And that's how drained I have been. Yeah, and, bless her heart, Erin has been my help too. Candy, everybody has come in to kind of get me grounded. And I'm just like, like one of those tops, they're just spinning me and I'm just going around. And I'm like, I have never been this way. It is
me either.
Insane. Never.
I feel like I've been put in a blender from the neck up.
Yeah.
Like, what the fuck is going on here? What is this? Because I have not just suddenly slipped into dementia. I've got my shit together in every other conceivable way, in terms of my intellectual work, in terms of my writing and all of that. If I'm calm and I'm, stayed and settled and focused. But if I give my brain free rein to think, it spins out of control. And I struggle literally to form complete sentences. It's awful. I've never experienced anything like it.
Oh yeah, it's been bad. And just like I was telling Erin, I'm like, Erin, I feel like I'm working all night. I feel like I'm like with a shovel digging holes and things like that. And I'm like, I'm a control freak. I kind of am able, now that I've figured it out, control how I see things, how I move it. Now it's like somebody's puppeteering me.
Yes.
And it is, no. I'm like, I got to find myself balance. But again, I mean, you think about it, we went from COVID to this war. I mean, there has not been a breath. It's just been nothing. And in between all that, look at all the deaths that are happening. People just walking down the street, slicing people for no reason, just because they walked across the street. And I'm watching this stuff just ooze out of the ground.
Yeah.
And it's like it forms into its own demons. And it's just like taking over people, almost that whole zombie effect. And it's just kind of like, I don't even know what's going on. I feel like I'm in a crazy video game.
Yeah. Yeah. Or that, maybe that we are a computer program and this is the Matrix and somebody's really screwing with the equipment, And
Yeah, because I don't have those moves like he did. I can tell you that.
I can't wait to meet him, and I'm going to. Yeah, I'm very excited about that. A really exceptional human being. He's a good friend of mine, and I've been promised a meeting. I'm going to have to bring him on the show and interview him and he will come. Yep.
That will be a show of a lifetime there.
Yeah, that'll be wonderful. Michelle, I think we need to admit that what's happening on this planet has happened for time immemorial. An estimated 10 to 15 million people killed during the Crusades. Just that period of time. Of course, the Holocaust. And so many other. Look what happened to Sarajevo. Look what happened to Ethiopia. Look what happened to Syria. Look what happened to Afghanistan. Look what happened in Iraq. Over and over and over and over again, just in my lifetime. I was on the phone the other day with my dear, dear mother, who is 82, and, her health is failing and she's struggling and she was crying, and my mom is not a crier. And I said, "Oh, sweetheart, what is it?" And she said, "I was born in August of 1939 into a world war, and I'm going to die in the next world war. And there's never been a moment of peace on this planet every single day of my life. Not a single day of peace on this planet." So I think that, I can't argue with that.
No.
She's just speaking the truth. But I have to wonder that dark night of the soul where you lay in bed and wonder, is this all there is? Is this all there ever will be? Will we never learn a thing? What have we learned in soul school class? Nothing. So is this the final? Is this the final? Is this the last semester? And is this the final? And are we going to fail? Or are we going to pass by the skin of our teeth? Or are we coming out of this with a straight A?
I feel that we're going to be coming out by the skin of our teeth, because we're going to do just enough to do that. It's like you said, fear. Everyone has fear because we don't want to go too much, because we don't know what's on the other side. And, I can't do that, but I'm going to do just enough so I can say I did. And that's what we have done in history past. Just enough.
Yeah. It's like rearranging the deck chairs on the Titanic.
Yeah. Absolutely. And, and for me, when I see all this, or just in general, families, everything, just our daily lives. I work with a lot of people with fragmented souls. It's like we get reincarnated again to try again, like you said, to learn a lesson. We keep just enough of another part of a soul going, okay, this is deja vu. So this must have been part I did right. Mm-hmm. What was the parts that were wrong? Mm-hmm. And again, we only listen to what's in front of us.
Yeah. So what's the solution? What is the antidote for what is so toxic in humanity that we deliberately, wantonly create conflict and, declare war on each other for
I-
invisible boundaries between countries.
yeah, like whoever made that a thing.
Yeah.
It's not like, we were put here to say, okay, you got this piece, you got this piece.
Yeah.
We were put here to all be as one.
Yes.
That is why we're all different, because we were all supposed to use what's unique to us to continue to build what was given to us. And we haven't done that. I think soon as we open our eyes and take the blinders off and let it start shining, and we all know what we can do, we will make that change. We'll all become one.
But don't you think that people are afraid to wake up because they subconsciously know that if they do, they won't be able to go back to sleep? That once, the human mind expanded does not contract. You can't unlearn, unthink, unknow, unfeel anything. Once you've experienced it and it has been integrated into your psyche, it is a permanent fixture.
But a lot of that's already happened. Look at during COVID, more and more people were waking up. They were trying to figure out how to live. How do we live in this situation? So now you just take that piece and you grow with it. We have been tested time and time again, just like you said, with the wars, with COVID, with other things that have happened, whether it's on the other side of the world. We all know how to feel. And we all show it. And we have been awakening. We have more and more people going, these crazy things are happening to me. More people like myself and other psychic mediums or empaths, spiritual leaders. That is who needs to be coming forth. And we need to start guiding, mentoring, not teaching one specific way. We need to take a little bit from everybody and let's grow it to something we can all learn, because we always learn. As humans, we're always wanting to learn something. I mean, as we're born, we learn how to eat, we learn how to walk. We always want to. And now we need to take it out of the physical realm and start learning it on the spiritual realm.
Yes, I agree. And I think that we must ascend to a higher dimension, to a higher understanding of who we are and why we are here. And at this most pivotal inflection point in the course of human evolution. I think that, I'm not certain, but it feels to me like we're all here with purpose and reason right now. That each one of us was born into this time to be able to make a difference, to hopefully navigate enough of us here to navigate humanity into a higher consciousness, a higher ability to reason, to be able to feel the presence and the love. It is so much easier to feel harmony and tranquility and peacefulness and loveliness. It is so much easier to extend ourselves in kindness, even just a momentary gesture. It is so much easier to live that way. It feels like floating. When I go to a Paracon, and I know that how this feels, it's like a freaking love fest. Everybody's all over you. It's like, come here, come here, come here. And there's all this energy exchange and just light and love exploding. And I tell people when I lecture at these events, just by us gathering here for this weekend, we're helping to heal the world.
Yes.
Just by putting this level of energy up and out into the ether, we're helping to heal the world.
Absolutely, because we all have something to give. I mean, okay, I got to tell everybody, your hugs are the most amazing things. When I needed it and you hugged me, oh my God, it was like it just re-energized me. So we all know we're supposed to be in some type of realm together.
Yes.
We're all different. But again, we can all meet in the middle, no matter what it is. And I love that. I love that I found, like I said, I found myself. I found my worth. I found what I'm supposed to do. And if that means help one individual at a time, and that's my path, that's how I'll do it, just to give peace.
Yeah. Well, you know, I had a couple of questions that I wanted to ask you, and I thought one of them might be too personal. So I should have probably run it past Erin before I ask you this. But do you feel like what you bring into this world gets dispersed everywhere to so many people? I mean, isn't it very hard to maintain a relationship in the midst of feeling like an octopus with 1,000 tendrils and having someone or something hanging on every single one of them?
Yes.
It does it not leave you feeling, and if this is too personal, you can tell me, back off, check. But and I'll be cool. I'll be cool with that. I will. I'll go cry later, but no. You know, it's I feel so cheated. I'm going to put it to you this way. You know, I feel cheated. I feel like I was born with a heart as big as the moon, and all I've ever wanted to do was share it with one. And it turned out that it was for everyone. And so, is it not isolating? There are times that I feel like even the solitude, the not having that someone to hold their hand with me all the time, it leaves me sad. I feel a little cheated by the universe that I've never been married. I never had kids. I felt like I had to walk a very solitary path. Something tells me that's going to change later late in life for me. And I hope I'm right about that, but it's been a long and lonely journey. It has.
I am blessed to have two beautiful children.
Oh, that's wonderful.
I have my partner, Todd, is pretty much my soulmate. He is my rock. He's my, okay, let's talk this over. Let me put you where we need to put you before you go somewhere. I have beautiful friends that gather as my family. But with all of that, I feel very empty. It's like I still have missing pieces. Like, okay, you're giving me all this. I am blessed. I'm loved. I love them. Or have I just depleted myself that I still feel empty inside and stuff? And I do have that. You're going to make me cry. I feel like I'm on Oprah.
I'm paranormal Oprah, honey.
Okay.
It's bound to happen. I even have the funky glasses. It's okay, honey. I know.
It is. It is.
I really can relate.
But when I help someone, when I truly help a family or I help a child finding their way, I get that fulfilling for a moment because I'm like, okay, then I know I'm on the right track.
Yes.
But what do I continue to do to keep having that feeling? It's almost like a drug, that high, and then that high goes away and you want to show love to everyone that, is around your little bubble. And in my mind, they know I love them. They'll still be there. And then I look and I'm like, but I'm by myself. So it's pretty tough.
Yeah.
Because I speak more to the dead than I do other people. So I just don't, it's lonely. It is lonely.
Yeah. It
Yeah.
is. And it's a blessing and a curse simultaneously. That's the thing I think I most resent about Earth is the duality.
Yeah.
You can't have one without the other. When it comes to anything and everything, you can't have one. You can't have the
This whole
darkness
balance
without the light.
crap. Yeah.
Yeah. And yet always, and I know Candace will back me up on this. She's a great believer in this too. I do feel ultimately that good vanquishes evil. That
Yes.
ultimately, if good was unable to conquer evil, then none of us would be here anymore. Because at some point during history, somebody on the planet wanted our society dead, or their society, or that country, or that kind of people, or that religion, And so, I really do believe that ultimately, good prevails.
Absolutely. Even in the Bible, God had told, the devil, I'll let you play with them. You can't kill them, but he always ends up winning because good takes over. He's going to let them strangle, push them around, throw them around, do whatever it has to do, keep pushing those buttons, but he never wins because then the good comes in and takes over.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel, sorry, my ears are getting real hot. They're screaming right now inside. They're like,
yeah.
When I get on that subject, but it's one of those where, we can be treated like rag dolls no matter what, but it still swoops in and we still have the light and the love and the good prevails. It's just the way it is. And no matter what it is, we're having to see a lot of the darkness. Mm-hmm. It's allowed for so long, that stupid balance, but then good takes over and evil is gone.
Yeah. It's, expelling it permanently. Allergy season in Florida.
Oh.
Oh my God. Give me some. I have this much orange juice left. That's it. Okay, God. Okay. I lost my frame of reference there for a moment. I think ultimately, just when you were just saying that just 2 minutes ago, I don't know if anybody else watching the show noticed, but there was light all around you. That beautiful picture of the dark and smoky and foggy forest behind you became completely illuminated, but it wasn't the picture. It was you. I hope everybody else saw that. I hope that wasn't just a sisterhood thing, that I am the only one that saw that. I hope that other people saw that as well too, because you do put off an extraordinary amount of light. But yes, it can deplete you. Mm-hmm. That battery runs down. And if we don't figure out a way to, perpetually recharge it, then we can end up feeling vacant. And I've had those moments where I literally had nothing left to give. And then I had to find a way to go within and, to dig deep and to reach within my own soul and come forth with a fresh perspective on why this is so important. And I know that you go through that same process. The first time I ever really looked you in the eye, not only did I see extraordinary beauty, you are an absolutely beautiful, radiant woman. It comes from within, as within, so without. I saw wisdom of the ages and felt an energy. You say you drew energy from me. I drew energy from you. True confession. Absolutely. I remember the moment. that I held you in my arms. Hold on, we have a message here. A few questions came in if you want to grab them. Okay, Bill says that he's got people that have questions, and so he's going to hop in and slam you with them. So,
All right.
that's his job. So go for it.
All right, there's a question. These questions came in a little bit earlier, Michelle, so I apologize if they seem a little bit out of context right now, but Jolene, and I'll put the question on the screen. Jolene asks, if my 7-year-old daughter does have abilities that I believe she was born with, what advice would you give to a parent trying to communicate with her?
Let her daughter speak. No matter what it sounds like, be, not just encouraging, but be that platform. Let them be able to talk, because when you shut them down, that's when all the danger starts. They might not understand everything she's saying. She could be talking something way out that doesn't make any sense, but just let it take it in. Write the journal for her. Put the words in there. So this way, if she ever comes back, she can start looking at it and start piecing together what her path is supposed to be.
Mm-hmm.
All right, here's another one. This is from Candy. In a field full of powerful men, what did it mean to you to be the first woman inducted into the Worldwide Society of Exorcists?
Holla!
Take a hammer to that glass ceiling, huh? Yeah.
It was an amazing feeling for myself. That was part of my growth. And, knowing that I did that because it is all men, it was actually something that was very personal for me. So it was a definitely big time holla holla. So it was my personal achievements.
Well, congratulations to you on that.
Thank you.
She's kicking some demon ass out there.
Hell yeah.
Michelle the Slayer. I won't even get into that analogy, but here we go. This one is coming from Zach, and I'm going to put this up on the screen. How can I have a better chance to have a paranormal experience? I feel like I am in their presence, but still behind the veil. And this actually shows to Andrea, but Michelle, you can also answer this question.
Absolutely. It really is just okay. Understanding that, and Michelle, jump in too here if I say something that is contrary to your understanding, because I want him to have both sides if there are two. But I don't think that there is such a thing as a veil. I think that we live in a multidimensional universe, not a 3-dimensional world. I think that this so-called veil is self-imposed. It is a human machination to keep us relegated to and compartmentalized in a way that we feel most comfortable in this bizarre world that we live in. And so when you visualize the veil as completely non-existent, that is part of what opens your third eye, what begins to open you up to everything that exists around you. In other words, what it does is it gives you an opportunity to see your old reality with new eyes. And that's when your breakthrough will take place. And always keep in mind that you are never in charge of that process, that the ball is always in their court, always, and that it's your job to pay enough attention that when the ball starts coming at you, you're in a position to volley back and begin that conversation, as it were, that energetic conversation. But, Zach, get in touch with me either through Lynn Ann Bowling or Erin Bush. Either one of them can put you in touch with me, and I can do a 2 or 3 minute thing with you that will open you up. We can just do it over the phone. And I think that you'll begin to have experiences that are actually happening all around you now. It's just that your sensory perception will be more heightened after we do this, and you will be more receptive and more responsive to that activity. Okay. All right. That's my piece. Michelle, answer Zach.
Actually, I love what you said. with me thinking of the veil, I see it as a curtain. And I think the curtain, member, is kind of what's over in front of us, because I don't think there's a fine line across the sand that, spirit world's here,
Right.
we're here,
Right.
and we
Nope.
don't cross that line.
Yep.
So I
They're
feel
all
the veil,
intermingled. Everything
correct.
is.
Correct.
Yep.
And the veil is something, like I said, I think it's the veil across our eyes.
Right.
Until we start looking past that. That's why when people say we're opening the veil, well, we are opening the veil because we are opening people up to actually see what's already in front of them.
Yeah.
And that's kind of works with all the energy and things like that. So you just want to, just like, on a sunny day, open those curtains and start looking out.
I think of it as like a theater curtain, a big,
Yep.
thick, heavy velvet theater curtain. We invented the theater curtain to go
Yep.
into the theater, and so we get to pull those and open it up. And then maybe on the other side of that theater curtain is a sheer scrim. Well, we put that scrim there too.
Yeah.
And we can see through the scrim. We couldn't see through the main curtain until we opened it. But then we can see through the scrim. Well, you can tear that scrim right down. It weighs nothing. It's light as a feather.
Correct.
And there you are standing right in your multidimensional reality. And you have just descended from third into fourth into fifth dimension and beyond. And you are now entering a cosmic connectivity that you've never experienced before in your life. And you're never coming back from it.
That's right.
I want to add something to that because when this is the way I do it. When I'm in my pool, believe it or not, when I'm in my swimming pool, and I live in the back, there's nobody around me. It's private. I'm by the woods. But when I lay back, I'm meditating. I'm hearing everything around me, the birds, the insects. I'm looking at the sky. I'm looking at the trees. I get the smell. All the senses are on steroids. I'm absorbing everything in my environment. And when you open yourself that way, you put all these negative thoughts, you just absorb the moment and absorb the energy around you. It's everywhere. You just got to open yourself up and take it all in.
Yes.
And that's just the way I deal with it. And I mean, anybody can do this in a peaceful surrounding, but that's truly what spiritualism is, being at peace with your surroundings and with oneself. So I think that more people, if you just open yourself up to it, it'll just open up to yourself. It'll come to you. So that's just my take on it. But here's another question from Carrie Kristen, and I'm going to put it up. Michelle, do your angels always support you in going after an evil spirit, or are they sometimes like maybe not this one?
That is actually a true statement. Because, I try to find the ones that, when you're kind of in the midst of something, you're always calling on Michael or someone, like, because those words come out and you kind of look around like, oh, maybe they're not here. And then you start grasping, okay, I'm going to go in the cookie jar. Who else can I call on?
Yeah.
So certain ones come for certain reasons. They don't all just come because I call them. If their purpose is not there, I'm not going to get the help. So I do, but I do always, do I call on Michael a lot? And he's probably just going, come on, girl, you just got to stop.
Well, because I don't want to keep, I'm going to ask a couple of more and then you guys, because we're getting close to the wrapping up the show, but here's one from Erin. What is your go-to method of grounding and protecting your energy when you're at a location?
I do it before I go into the location.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
I go by what's really dear in my heart. I make sure I talk. I am not very good with putting like the whole bubble around me or anything because I already feel that I've got a shield,
Mm-hmm.
back, during Caesar's day, that big armor and everything.
Yeah.
That's how I go in. I use the strength that was given to me. And I believe in that strength very true-heartedly. So my intentions are going in is I'm going in and that's my grounding. When I start trying to do all that other stuff, I'll jack it up in a heartbeat. It'd be like, oh, that was a bubble. Now I'm just kind of all over the place. So
yeah. Well, I think it's too easy to get that bubble popped.
Yeah.
So
Bing.
I kind of go into any given situation, kind of with I put on my badass Joan of Arc routine. Like, even, don't even. It's, I make sure that I cast a light so bright that what is dark is too afraid to even approach me. And I go in with an attitude of, I am Teflon, I am impervious, don't even bother. And I've only had one encounter that I was overpowered because I didn't do the proper forewarned is forearmed. I didn't do the proper work prior to. I kind of got thrown in to a situation, and I was unprepared, and I learned very quickly never to let that happen again.
One more quick one, and I know Jacob he's been dying to ask this question to both of you, and it's a little otherworldly. I'm going to put it up on the screen. Do you think ET encounters are more frequent in the ancient or modern world?
Oh, honey. Oh, my God. Oh, I can take that one like immediately. They are everywhere, omnipresent, around, circumnavigating this globe in numbers that even people who research this field cannot even conceptualize. They are here in numbers that should make all of us feel loved and supported and lifted up. They have come, if they could get here, they have come in droves from across the universe. And they were always here, and they've always been here, and we are them and they are us, and we, capital W-E, are one. But they can't do the growing for us. They can't. We have to rise up out of our own willful ignorance and our own ability or disability to comprehend the true profundity of life, all life. And then they will make their presence known in inexplicable, undeniable ways where there won't be a single skeptic left on the planet. Not one.
We have about 4 minutes left, but I just want to ask Michelle a question from myself. How difficult with everything that you do to separate the darkness from light? Because, you get yourself involved in some of these cases. It must be overbearing at times to be, engulfed in that darkness. How do you bring yourself back from that?
A lot of work, because I will tell you, it sucks you in. It will actually mess with my moods. It messes with me that I have to, I have to check myself. And, like Andrea was saying, I'm going in there with a power and true trust of love, light, and knowing that I have something backing up. But it doesn't always work. Again, with balance, I can get beat up a lot before it comes out. Mm-hmm. So it is a struggle. I always have to find that peace. Just like when you go on a paranormal investigation, we use a flashlight. I'm using that like a pin light. That's where I always focus on. So that's like my little light I know I have to go to, because if not, it would suck me in.
Yeah.
But again, I feel like I'm supposed to see that. That is my gift. I'm supposed to figure out how to balance that, because there is more to it. And again, some of that darkness was made dark, and I'm trying to bring them back because that's where they've always wanted to be. So
yes,
there's a purpose behind it.
Excellent point. Well, we have about 2 minutes, so I'm going to jet out of here. Michelle, keep up the great work.
Thank you.
And just make sure to let everybody know where they can find you, social media, websites. And I'm going to bail out because you guys got 2 minutes left. But beautiful to talk to both of you. God bless you, and have a great rest of your 2 minutes.
Okay, and do Bill, if you can, please put Michelle's website up again, or any links. I mean, people can go right to the site and find out any links that. I can't believe how fast 2 hours went. I'm staggered by how fast this went. And stay on after we close out the show, because I have a couple of questions for you, and I think we're going to have to book a follow-up on this. So, because there were a whole bunch of things I wanted to get into that we didn't even scratch the surface. So hang with me as the show closes out. And for all of our viewers, and I know there are many of you on a number of continents, please spread the word. Please reach out and lift someone up. Just extend one moment of kindness and compassion and support for a fellow human being who you can see in their eyes is suffering, who just might need your smile to make it through the day. And above all else, be brave, be deeply courageous, reach into your heart and dare to have faith in the future. I love you all. Thank you for joining us tonight on A World Awakening. And good night.